Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. This one, as you can see, is pretty long, and that's because it's an entire recording inside of one of our programs, the Six-Figure Marketing Consultant. We have two, the Six-Figure Marketing Consultant and the Seven-Figure Systems Group. And what we do is we help beginners go from 0 to 6 figures, and people who want to just cut straight to the meat and go straight to $1 million or are at 6 figures and want to scale, we have the 7-figure program. And for most people, we throw them into both, because we think both communities are incredibly valuable for you to be a part of. So that being said, this is one of our twice-a-week group accountability calls from inside of the Six-Figure Group. And I just wanted to kind of like leak this onto YouTube and onto, sort of our front end, if you would call it that, because it was a really valuable call. In this call, we talk about, how to sell done-with-you services or coaching or consulting to clients for 10 times what you could charge for done-for-you services where you actually come in and do the work for a client. So how to actually scale your agency or your consulting or your coaching business, whatever it is that you do, by offering a package that doesn't commit you to more labor down the line. And this is a really big deal, and I don't think you understand how important it is to develop an offer of this caliber. We help people grow their offer to anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 up front, and we show them how to do it based on real world experience. We've sold $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 consulting packages ourselves. So that's the first thing that we help you with. The second thing that we're going to show you on this call is essentially what makes a prospect buy. A lot of people think that what makes a prospect buy is having a large list of really good benefits on your service. But in reality, people don't buy your service, they buy outcomes. They buy, where they are now versus where they want to get, and they kind of buy that gap. They invest when they see that you can help them bridge that gap. And so if you can help people bridge that gap, you've got a good offer. It's not about what you do, it's about what the offer does in relationship to the gap that they have that they're trying to solve. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully this is a valuable video for you to watch. Enjoy it, watch it all the way through. It's obviously a very long video, so I'd recommend, watching it right now from start to back with a pen and a notepad, because, this is paid material. This is inside of our programs, which are not cheap programs. A lot of people, they take out loans to be in our programs. They take out a credit card. Whatever it is that they have to do, they'll join us. And so I hope that you respect that we're leaking this onto YouTube. And sort of giving you guys an insider look at what it is that we do for our clients inside of our programs and inside of our group coaching sort of circles. So that being said, hopefully you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Well, sweet. So what do you guys want to talk about? I know Jeremy just joined us actually today. He joined us in the 7-figure systems community, but we're giving people the 6-figure access in that. So this is kind of his first call. But I'd love to kind of just give you guys the reins. As you guys know how these calls go, I'm really just here to help you directly. Whatever specific issues you guys want to hit, we'll hit. The calls are completely up to you guys. If I see that there seems to be a trend in the conversation, I'll just kind of go down that rabbit trail and help you guys out. But I do want to congrats to Greg for closing a client recently. I believe it was one of your first, so kudos to you. I saw that post. I was super stoked for you.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. Was actually the first coaching client.
That's awesome. That's phenomenal. It's a good feeling, right? It's like all you got to do is just tell them what to do now.
Yeah, exactly.
Really nice.
Yeah. The course helped me a lot, with sales. I think that was my main problem. Mindset as well. But like my closing ratio is like 10%. It's not that high.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to like raise that. Sticking less to the script. I was like really like reading the script and everything before. And yeah, I think that it's helping a lot.
It's good to hear, man.
Yeah.
Let me do this as a bonus for you guys. Let me drop the 7-figure systems script. A little download link in the chat for you guys, because we've revamped it, and I'm actually going to be adding it to the 6-figure group just for the people that are in there, because it's just a way better script. And I'm happy as well to break it down for you guys if you want to do that on this call and go more in depth into our sales concepts, because we found that like we can sell the exact same service with the exact same deliverables, but like triple the price if we position it properly. And that's kind of how we go into this. So Greg, I noticed that your coaching deal it's a decent first coaching deal, but I know what you're doing for your client, and you could have charged 5 grand outright for what you're
Yeah.
doing for them. So I just want to help help you get to that level and help you, make that transition into really selling high ticket. So if that sounds like a good topic, we can do that. But I also want to get some more updates from you guys before we kind of decide on the direction to go. That was a weird sound.
Yeah, sorry. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Alexander. Good to see you on here, man.
Yeah, same.
Give me an update from you, man. How's life? How's biz? Is there any topics you want to hit?
Yeah, on my side, I just not took a break, but just took some time to just reflect on the year, and I'm working on my on the next year and figuring out exactly who I am growing into. Like the person that I'm growing into. Like reassessing my goals, and yeah, basically laying out everything and starting to also like plot everything on my calendar so I can like chunk everything and be ready to attack straight. But I mean, at the moment I have like 3 clients, but in some ways I feel way more confident than when we talked. So yeah, we'll just like basically outreach massively. I think that I have a great team already. Like the media buyer is good. So yeah, it's just about like, I think keeping to outreach, and then come in the next level that you provided. I would be like really interested to go into that like seriously after I get to the 10K. So yeah, I think I'm like halfway through, right? And I'm starting like OMA also, like seriously, like posting once a day at least in a group, so that I keep building. So yeah, I feel like I'm on the
I
way.
love it. I'm going to drop a Google Drive link to a call I just put in the chat that we had in the 7-Figure Systems group, where we went. I'm kind of retitling OMA in the 7-Figure group to what we're calling the Facebook flywheel, because we're noticing that it just gets easier and easier and easier as you go and as you do it right. It looks like Corey just joined us, so I'm going to send this to Corey as well, just to make sure you get it in the Zoom chat. But Corey, we're talking about the Facebook method. So send it to Corey. But I would love if you guys could give that a watch. It's actually going to be a YouTube video on the channel like a week from now. Our editor's throwing together that, so you get that as well. But that's as in depth as we've gone into the OMA model, OMA, Facebook flywheel, whatever you want to call it. And it's with our client, who's actually one of our coaches. And I think, Greg, you might be working with him, Aaron Spikes. I don't know. Are you working with Aaron, Greg? Or is that someone else that I know?
No.
No? Okay. Somebody else had a client or somebody of yours that was working with Aaron. So I guess I confused the two. And Aaron went from scratch, like zero, to $40,000 a month. And that's like the best video I've ever done summarizing the strategy. So definitely give that a look when you guys get the chance, and just download that and give it a review. And that's, by the way, those are the sort of conversations we have in the 7-Figure group. So it's a really fun thing. All right, what's up, Cole? Welcome,
man.
dude.
How's it going?
How's it going, dude? And for those of you who don't know, I know Cole in real life. I used to run this Bible study, and he was there, and I've been really close to their family, and so
Yeah, man. I haven't gone on one of these before, so I wanted to hop on and try to learn as much as I can.
I love it, man. And we're just talking about, so right now we're talking about the Facebook model. I'll send it to you as well, Cole. So in our 7-Figure Systems group, we had a great call recently on the Facebook model. Just a drive link. You check it out when you can. It's how our client Aaron went from scratch to like 40 grand a month just prospecting on Facebook. So it's a great call. Give that a look when you can. But so cool. Great update, Alexander. Hopefully that was some just some value for you, dude, as you move into 2021. If you guys need anything, just let me know. Give me some other updates. I'd love to hear some more. Corey, Jeremy, obviously you just joined us. I'd love if you could intro yourself at some point, and then Philip, Greg, and Cole, one from you as well would be great. I think maybe some of you have already given one. I think Greg, you already gave yours, but I'd love to hear some updates.
You want me to go ahead?
Go for it, man.
Yeah, so my name is Jeremy. I live in Tampa, Florida. I am just trying to start a coaching business in the self-development area. Still working on niching down and pinpointing like the specific language to use as far as pain points go and stuff like that. So very like beginner, pretty much.
It's awesome, dude. You're coming in at a great time, man. Let me link in the chat again. I'm just going link heavy on this call today, boys. Link in the chat to one of my buddies, Quasi. I've known him for about a year, and I saw him go from $10,000 a month to $140,000 a month, selling one self-development offer through YouTube. So he's an absolute hound, and he at his peak was taking like 8 sales calls a day from his YouTube platform. So Jeremy, he's somebody to model. And actually, when Brendan, because I think Brendan brought you to the program today, when Brendan closed you, he messaged me and said he's in the self-development angle. I'm like, dude, we're gonna just model Quasi together with you. I mean, he just did it right. He did everything right. He's got one sales rep that takes his calls for him, one $3,500 offer, and just one method of getting calls, which is YouTube. And we don't really teach YouTube. I probably should, but we don't really teach it. You can do the same thing with Facebook or building a funnel with us, or there's all kinds of methods for getting sales calls. So that's great to hear. What are your goals with us, man? Where do you want to get?
I mean, I want to get to obviously 7 figures. I want to be able to build a team. Really just figuring out how to land clients and structure a program that works well, you know.
You mean by working well, you mean to say like it actually creates transformation in people. It's not just a hypey motivational program.
Yeah, definitely that. And the big thing is like I have all this knowledge and just a matter of turning that into a actual program, you know, rather than just like vomiting out all the information I have, like how to make it into a, you know.
Yeah. Have you done any one-to-one consulting with people before? Anything like that?
Not officially, but kind of, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, like with friends or like colleagues or something, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I love it, man. It's a good start. Well, sweet. Welcome to the program, dude. We're gonna fix you up.
Yeah, thanks.
Who's next? Who else wants to give us kind of an update on how things are going? I mean, Cole, I'd love to hear one from you, man. I mean,
yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm Cole. I've been like a part of the program for like probably going on a year now, but I never really started actually like practicing it and like taking it seriously up until a couple months ago. I just was like had really terrible like motivation, not a lot of self-confidence, but I'm finally like ready to start going. I kind of decided on like the painters / home improvement niche. I've been doing like painting jobs with my granddad for like 10 years. So I figured I could take the knowledge I have from that. I'm still like pretty new. I like watched the course in full like last year, but then never really went very far from that. So like I've done like a couple like OMA posts and like groups like that and stuff, but mainly I'm just here to try to get any other knowledge I can to help grow.
sweet.
So yeah.
I love it, dude. It's so good to have you here, man. It's really a total pleasure.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great year for you, dude. I can tell. You can just tell when someone's like making the decision to make it work.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Still a lot to learn, but this is like what I want to do for a living. So this is awesome.
There's always a lot to learn, man. I mean, one of my best friends in this business is named Bastion, and he and I are like similar business scale. I mean, our calls when we hang out, we're always talking about like how we just don't know anything.
Yeah.
As far as there's just so much more to learn, and like, yeah, just as long as you are a little uncomfortable, you're probably doing it right. So
sweet.
Yeah. All right. Who's next? I kind of want to get a vibe of who's all on the call and then decide on a topic and just drill into it for the final 40 minutes.
I'm Corey. I'm from the suburbs of Boston, Massachusetts. I joined the course a couple months ago, and then basically immediately went to college. I'm back from the winter break now. I'll be home for like a month. We had like no breaks during school, and then they just extended the winter break another 2 weeks or so. So I really want to get going now. Just trying to get something rolling before I go back. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I'm ready to just see what I can do. I'm definitely still learning. Yeah, it's a lot, but I know this is definitely what I want to do. I don't know if I want to go all the way with college, but I think what I'm learning here is like they're playing off of each other. Like I'm learning stuff that I can apply here, and at college I'm learning stuff I can apply here. So it's fun. I'm doing right now info products and coaches. I've joined a couple of Facebook groups, just answering people's questions. No like wall of text OMA posts yet, but they'll come, I'm sure. How did you guys start? Like Trey, I you have a bunch of YouTube videos that have been really helpful, but a lot of it's like and I know you feel like you're best and can help more people going from like 10 to 100, but I don't know. I'm just sort of stuck at the don't have a client yet. Really want to help.
I think the main breakthrough for you, Corey, is just realizing that like you get like the authority that you bring to market is authority that you adopt when you decide to adopt it. Like that was the biggest thing for me, is thinking that somebody had to give me the authority, or that like I had to like prove myself first by having testimonials or case studies, and like that all helps obviously, but you just can't waste your time comparing yourself to giants who've been doing it for 6 years. Like, they're obviously going to have tons of testimonials, tons of results. And if you start to think, oh, I can't be in this business because, why would somebody go with me if they're out there? You're completely wrong. Like, people will appreciate you for you and want to work with you for a multitude of reasons. Like, one of my first clients, just on a business consulting level, they paid me like $500 to help them set up a chat bot. It was this coffee shop. And Cole, we've been there before for Bible study. It's Brick House. Yeah. So It was Brick House. It was this place. They paid me $500 up and set up a chatbot. And like, I literally went online and Googled how to set up a chatbot that evening. You just kind of have to figure it out and be willing to kind of be on the edge of things like that. And be completely honest and tell people like, look, I'm wanting to get this thing going, and I see that I can bring a lot of value to the market to people like you, and have that honesty, and people really appreciate that. And there's no reason to lie or to fake or to pretend you're something you're not. Just come to the market with honesty and tell people where you're at. And ultimately, people don't buy into you, Corey. They buy the next step in their journey as a business owner or as a person. So if you can identify where they are now and where they want to get, and you can kind of logically represent bridging that gap for them, they'll buy. Whether you're a beginner or advanced. I know people who have 100 testimonials, but because they got on a sales call with their rep or whatever, and the rep didn't really do a good job at listening and hearing where the client's at, they went with us instead, because that's what we're really good at. We're good at hearing where you're at and where you want to get, and helping you understand what it's going to take to get you there. In all realms of my business, the agency, the coaching, one-on-one, whatever it is I'm doing for somebody. So I think your strongest asset right now, Corey, is being able to help a business owner recognize where they are and where they want to get, and plan steps and charge for that gap. You don't have to, it doesn't matter what level you're at, anybody can do that. And you can have a huge advantage in the market if you're a good listener.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where I come from.
Yeah, that was super valuable. I have to leave like right now. Thank you guys though.
Of course, man.
Appreciate it.
College. That's funny. So, hey guys, the OMA model movie. I noticed a lot of you guys are requesting access to that. I went ahead and opened it up so that anyone with the link can access it instead of requesting. So just go ahead and recheck that, and you should have access to it.
Actually, I have a question. Something happened to me with a client recently. He's requesting, I think that he issued what's the name of that? A dispute.
Mm-hmm.
And potentially he wants to ask for a chargeback, even though it's only been 30 days that we've been doing this for him. And I told him that usually it takes about that's why I do like a 3 months program, because usually during the first month, you're most likely not going to get any results, and like all the expectation was set, and still like I think that he wants like a refund or something like this. But my bank sent me like a notification to tell me that there was a potential like risk of chargeback. Like, what should I do in that case?
I mean, dude, I would get on a call with the client and just figure out why they want the refund. And if the reason why they
It's
want the
not
refund doesn't
it's not like
hear it,
replying.
isn't replying.
Yeah, he blocked me on LinkedIn. Like he doesn't answer my text. I called him, he doesn't answer. Like,
Yeah, that's weird behavior.
pretty weird. Yeah.
That's just him being weird. I mean,
Yeah.
just if you get a chargeback on Stripe, to Stripe the contract you guys signed, and
Yeah, exactly.
you have that.
Yeah. Okay,
And
cool.
client's not fulfilling on their duty. Like the client has things he has to do. He's not doing them, and now he's his money back. Like that's just weird behavior. That's childish.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so,
I don't
if your
understand
client has
that, but
issues, yeah, like if your client has issues, they should be willing to do a call with you and talk and figure it out, like at least a bare minimum.
yeah.
So yeah, it's just weird behavior, dude. I mean, if you get a chargeback on Stripe, present them the contract, get on support with them and say, hey, this is our agreement, and they're not following through. So, and you'll probably keep the money. And then at which point, spam your client like once a day. Let's get a call. Why are you avoiding me? Let's talk about this. Like,
Okay,
and
cool.
then at some point, you're gonna corner them and they have to accept work with you, or they waste it.
Yeah, honestly, like usually it's like it's charging automatically. I just handed like the thing because I don't know, like it's weird.
Yeah, definitely cancel
So
it for now because you don't want to keep taking money from your client if they're not doing their part.
exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks, bro.
That's weird behavior. Like some people are like
Yeah.
that, man. They think it's like weird, like landscape where like everything's a scam. It's like I don't know. I guess people are just really like overly cautious about losing
Yeah.
money. But
True,
like,
true.
so I think maybe you can learn from it too, Greg, and think like, what did I do that scared them away and help them do that in the future? And just take
Yeah.
full responsibility. Even though it's weird behavior on the client's part, there are things you can adjust,
Yeah.
like that can happen again.
I think like I'm going to set the expectations like during the first month, like gonna tell them that they're most likely not going to get any results, because I feel that
Yes.
it's something that probably they don't understand, even though like I have a whole video in my onboarding like funnel, and I tell them, okay, so here's the agenda. I give them like a calendar, so they can see the timing for the campaigns, and how we're going to do things. And I feel I'm going to tell them like upfront, hey, so for the first month, probably not going to get any results because we're testing. And I felt that he was like, okay, let me get calls ASAP. I want calls ASAP. I was like, okay, so it's probably like it's going to take a couple weeks before you start getting like calls, because we have to connect with people on LinkedIn, and then, but like, anyways, I think I'm going to add that into the expectations.
Yeah, expectation setting is huge. I find that clients either stay or leave based on the expectations set for them. Like with our like educational programs, I literally a lot of people say we'll do 90% and you gotta do 10%, you gotta do the work. I'm like, that's like flipped. Like we're gonna give like that is a structure. It's almost all on your shoulders to get. And I find that it's like a way better expectation to set. Saying, we'll hold your hand and pat you on the shoulder when you do good and you feel great the whole time. Because then
Yeah.
we just attract that just can't get resolved. And it's in my agency. It's the thing, like even though it's done for you work for people, like I would check it, like, have you done what I need you to do? And I would control the frame like that. Like, I'm not their slave. Like if they want results and I hold the key to those results, I'm in charge, not them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Question.
Go ahead. Hey, let me grab a water. I can still hear you.
Okay. This guy, what is it, Quasi?
Yep.
What is the product that he's selling? Is it like a video training thing, or he's not doing coaching, he's just selling that, or what is it? Actually, let me tell you why I'm asking. I'm asking because I feel like for self-development, I feel like as a coach, it would have to be like an in-person thing almost to help people like in social.
You would think that, but I've found that that's not completely the case. Group coaching is stellar for your niche. Okay. Group coaching with one-on-one, maybe when needed, amazing. Way more scalable than one-on-one as well. You're going to get way more juice out of that. So I would say, dude, do you guys just see that Steven guy coming in and out? What's up with that? But I would just say, dude, like, I think you have this idea that one-on-one is more valuable for a client. I've actually found that people get better results when I put the weight on their shoulders and I make it very simple. Like, personal development, in my opinion, can be summarized with a few things like self-image psychology, habits, daily rituals, and who you surround yourself with. And if you can do those three things well, you're going to have like a really easy, good life, right? So it's like you can teach those things and make them templates and give people workflows to apply into their life. This is, same with your agencies, guys. I mean, this applies to everything. You don't have to do the work for your clients if you decide that you want to scale further. So with Quasi's program, it's a $3,500 or it's $3,600 investment, and it's a course. It's an online program. But what you got to understand, Jeremy, and what everybody I think on this call needs to understand is that people don't buy your service. They don't buy the deliverables. They don't buy what you have. They buy outcomes. They buy where it's going to bring them. And so I've found that we can sell, I've always kind of dreamed of this product where it's maybe an hour's worth of content that is just right to the meat, exactly what a client needs, with like maybe one coach to support them with one-on-one support, and we sell it for 20 grand. Like that offer is out there, So that's kind of where my mind goes, is like people buy outcomes, not what you're giving them. And if a client's like, so what exactly do I get? I get the course and I get I get this. So, and then like, why are you charging $3,500 for this? It's only a program. You didn't sell them right. You sold them on what you are giving them, not on the outcome that they desire. This is why inside a six-figure consultant, Jeremy, you're going to see our sales training. We talk about identifying where someone is at right now, identifying where they want to get, and asking them why they can't make that gap themselves. And you always sell them on the reason they can't make that gap themselves, not what you do.
Oh, that's cool.
Because then they're buying the next step in their journey. See the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, then I'd basically be modeling it after the way you've done it. And I would make it like an online thing, like what you have, the six-figure thing. I don't know how you do that, a website or whatever that people go through with videos, and then meeting like a couple times a week, just like this.
Yep. Yeah, dude. We get incredible results for people with like this model.
So I got to start making video content.
Yeah. Either video content or check out, so here's the thing too, Jeremy, with the 7-figure group, like the most context I'm going to give you for the actions you have to take is going to be on our one-to-one. So, take what we're talking about here with a grain of salt, because we talk about some different stuff in the group. But that being said, we got to figure out a way to prospect sales calls. And there's so many methods, it's stupid. For your niche, I imagine something more consumer friendly like Facebook or YouTube is going to be better than like LinkedIn or, running B2B ads, because it's not really a B2B offer, it's a B2C offer.
Right.
So something like YouTube or, Facebook group organic, the Facebook flywheel model, which again, we have the recording of the call in the chat there, should be really, really good for you to start with. But we'll talk more in depth when it comes time and really nail in exactly what we think you should do and focus on.
Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody? Obviously I'm kind of targeting Jeremy with that conversation, but does that make sense to like Philip, Alexander, Cole, Greg? Does that idea make sense? Like you don't have to do the work for your client.
Yeah, one thing I had a question about, and this is like a beginner question, but when you talk about like in the course, like don't like just get on a sales call and like rush to the sale, like diagnose, where they're at in their business, like see where they're at, rather than just immediately jump to the sale. Obviously there's people that are like, you can tell they're like way too skeptical, or like they don't have a good budget and they're just not a good fit. So you can tell that. But like with people who you genuinely think could be a good prospect, how do you, wouldn't like, because what we're trying to sell, like, well, I guess in my case, like what I want to work with them is like starting for done for you, which is like Facebook ads to grow their businesses. And so like wouldn't in most cases, the clients I feel like that would work well with me, wouldn't the solution, or if they're a good prospect, wouldn't the solution always be like Facebook ads? Like when we talk about diagnosing, someone's business, at least for me, I've got like the one offer, the one, Facebook ad, the one marketing thing. So I don't know if that really makes sense at all, but when you talk about diagnosing, like if the solution is always Facebook ads, if they're a good client or a good prospect, like how do I go about making it
I get what you're saying.
exclusive, like
So-
different for each person rather than just pushing the same thing, every single time?
Yeah, I think we have like a 10, 15% like leeway in the specifics of what we do, but it's like 80 to 85, 90% like the exact same offer for everyone.
Okay.
If somebody's like, it's this, like for example, like, and I'll reference like with like Jeremy, he joined us today in 7-figure, which is like he's paying us a good amount of money to be in that group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we market it for agency owners, coaches, consultants, whatever. But he's a little bit on the edge where he's just getting started and he wants to start a coaching business in the self-development niche. Most of our clients, they're B2B, but I know from experience that this stuff works from B2C too, so we can still help him. It's the same methods just applied in a different context. So we're willing to kind of go a little bit out from our exact like perfect archetype, because I know that when you apply methods and you've got a little bit of room to wiggle, you're still gonna be able to help people. But that being said, I think your question, and let me make sure I'm hearing you right here, Cole, is if I'm diagnosing somebody's problem, what if their problem can't be solved with Facebook? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, more of saying like, I guess I wasn't sure if when, I'm diagnosing people's problems, if, like I said, if they're a good prospect and if I know Facebook ads can help them, I just didn't know, am I supposed to be, trying to make things like unique to each person? Because I didn't want it to be like a script in my mind of like, we're going to do this and this and this and then results, or, does it really not matter if it's similar each sales pitch?
You should offer the same thing over and over again because you're going to get better at positioning over time. So that's a great question. Should it be different for different people? No, same thing.
Okay.
Because then you're going to start to learn like how you can justify that thing.
Yeah.
Like how many of you watched the sales call? Have you watched the sales call with D yet, Cole? In the
No, I think I watched the other one though. I don't remember his name. But I don't think I watched the one with D yet.
I think you can probably observe like a bit of a shift in my pitches. So with D, I closed on $10,000. With Nick, I closed on 15, right? And like you can see a bit of an evolution in the way that I pitched that offer. It's the same offer, but I had different like ways of justifying it, and I added 5,000 to the price tag, and he paid it. It's the exact same offer. I just had figured out different ways of positioning it, right? So I think if you offer the same thing, you're just going to get better at offering it. You're going to get better at positioning it. And right now, one of the challenges I'm going through is with Brandon. I mean, and he's on the call right now. We're transferring to a pseudo new offer. It's a fairly similar thing to what we've been doing for a while, but it's a pretty new thing. And so I'm always coming up with like ways that he can justify the price and ways that he can help explain to people really the value they're getting. And so there's some challenges there. But when you've stuck to one thing for a long time, the offer just rolls off your tongue. So for example, if you're working with painting, I don't know what you would call it, painting businesses.
Like painting, home improvement, kind of. I'm just kind of testing things out and seeing exactly what I want to narrow down on.
You should reach out to Luke Voigt, by the way. He's in the construction niche.
Okay.
And he's crushing it. Yeah. But that being said, yeah, it's the same offer. So you diagnose like, hey, where are you at currently? They're like, yeah, we do 3 gigs a month. That brings about $6,000 in the door. And I've got a team of 7. And you start to, you really want to understand everything that drives their business currently. And if you're B2C, that they're struggling with, like with Jeremy, where they're at currently, what problems they're facing, and just really get that current situation identified, because they wouldn't be speaking with you if they were completely satisfied with where they're at.
Yeah.
So you're really trying to understand, where you even here. So where are you at currently? Okay, we know that. Where do you want to get? And questions you can ask are, so you're currently $6,000 a month in your painting business. That's an average month, and they'll be like, yep, that's about an average month. Like, all right, like, where do you want to get this thing? Like, let's kind of dream here for a sec. Where do you want to get? And I know you've been at 6,000 a month for 8 years, but like, if we can break through whatever barrier is keeping you from scaling, what's the next barrier and where does that leave us? Like, what's the goal in the next 12 months for you if we can fix this? And they'd be like, well, I mean, if we can get to 10,000, that'd be awesome, but I'm super content with 6. But if we can get to 10, that'd be awesome. So, okay, now you have this separation. And what you want to do is figure out, what this outcome would do for them. So you want to get to 10,000. Why? What would that do for you? And they'll be like, well, it helped me with this and this and this. So you have those reasons. So you have where they're at, why they don't like it, where they want to get, why they want to get there. And they've defined those things. Right?
Yeah.
Golden question is always, what's stopping you from doing that yourself currently in your business or your life or whatever? And just be honest with, like, why haven't you made that gap yourself? And that's not like a disrespectful question. It's just a, what's been stopping you all this time? And they're going to give you, they're literally just going to hand you your pitch at that point. So they're going to say, well, we've tried other marketing practices. Nothing's worked. We've spent $6,000 on Google ads and stuff, and it's not working. And then you can take a look at what they've done, help them out a little bit with it, and say, you know what, you're in a great spot for what we do. I'd love to walk you through our offer because you're more than qualified. We don't say yes to everyone, but you are right where you need to be in order for us to help you. So I'd love to walk you through what we do. I can spend the next 20 minutes explaining it, and you can make a decision whether you want to work with us. Does that sound good? They'll say, yep. They'll say, cool. And you'll get into what you do and the specifics of it. And when you're talking about what you do, you don't give specific deliverables. You talk about the results that you get for people when these things work.
Yeah, results
so
over the feature brain thing.
Exactly. Not feature brain, results brain. Right. That's exactly it. Yeah. So you can see how at that point you can help them see how the bridge can be, the gap can be bridged with Facebook advertising or funnel building or sales training or anything. I mean, if we can make a case for where they're at and where they want to get, there's a gap there and we can fill it. I mean, we can fill that gap with almost any offer if we're really good at what we do. So that's my kind of methodology. I mean, like, Cole, you can sell your painting clients on something like what Jeremy's doing, where you're like, it seems to me like, life keeps getting in the way and you're struggling to stay on top of the business and blah, 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 blah. Let's see if we can't narrow in your routines and help, like routines for painting businesses. You see what I'm saying? If you have that gap, you can fill it with almost. Yeah.
Cool. That helps a lot. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Does that make sense to everybody else? Is everybody listening into that track and that click?
I'll take some notes.
Yeah. I actually have a question as well. Like, how do you price, a service usually? Like currently I'm charging like around 25 to 38. But how do you structure, the pricing?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, it's whatever I can justify and get the commitment from the client with. Like a lot of people think like, because I'm working 20 hours on the client, I'm kind of like a $30 an hour kind of guy. So you can do the math and then, but like, that's the wrong way to do it because you're not actually respecting what the client wants. Like the client pays for outcomes. They don't pay for your time. So, like back when I was first starting, I honestly didn't even say what the price was. Like I would just figure out where they're at, figure out where they want to get, and kind of walk them through what I want to do for them and how it's going to help them make that gap, make a logical case for how it's going to help them. And then I would say, all right, what would it be worth to you? We were able to bridge that gap for you. What's it worth to you? And they would be like, man, like I don't know. It's worth a lot of money. I'm like, let's put a number on it. Like, what do you think? And it was almost always like way more than I thought they would ask for. And they wouldn't always be willing to pay that much, but because, there's no guarantee that we can do that for them. So I would say, all right, you said it's worth $5,000. Let me just cut it in half, 2,500. How does that sound? And they'd be like, yep. I'm like, cool, let's do it. So
Okay.
it's almost, and you don't really have to. I think when it comes to price, a lot of people say, how do I figure out my prices? But to be honest with you, like, it's whatever you can justify. There is no set price for anything.
Okay. Like for example, if the person says like 5K or like let's say 5 to 6K, like should I say I saw in the I think in the document that I had to like drop the price at less than 25%. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like I think there was something like that. Or do I just say like, yeah, so it's 5K, or should I drop it?
I love on the call incentives. Like, hey, if you hop in while we're speaking with you, or hop in by the end of the day, we'll give you a discount, because it does a couple of things really well. It applies a respectful pressure, and it's not a skinny pressure. It's like, if you're ready to go, we're ready to go. Let's go right now. And also it gets more commitment and buy-in from clients, and it gives them less time to come up with reasons why this isn't a good fit, which little do they know is actually hurting them from getting results with you. Because if they come in with a skeptical mentality, they're preventing themselves from listening to what you've got to say and applying it, or getting help that you're offering them in the business. So yeah, I always do a little bit of a price drop just as incentive. I'll say like, hey, this costs, like with D, for example, I said it's $15,000, it's $5,000 a month. But if you make a decision on the call, you can just pay upfront for all 3 months, and I'll just charge you $10,000. So save you $5,000.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll add to that a little bit. When you're getting rolling, make sure that like what you're charging can still bring them an ROI. Because if what you're charging is too much and they're not making money, your client retention is going to be trash, and you're going to have problems with just like dealing with all your clients, just bad relationships. So just make sure, they're going to get an ROI, and you can prove that speed to charge high ticket if you like, it's not certain, it's not going to kill your relationships. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, that was I thought about that, because like if I charge 10K, but like the return on investment is not there, I'm not gonna stay long. So yeah, okay, sure. Okay.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that, but I would also be careful with that, because I think you gotta understand that the people who have the most buy-in are the most likely to get results. So it's like I think you're balancing the line between what I'm saying and what Brendan is saying.
Okay.
Like whatever you can justify balanced against solid actual ROI. But the problem with measurable ROI is that most beginners are going to look at their offer and like think it's like 1/10 of what it could actually sell for if they were good at selling. So it's a balance, and I think if you find that you're getting a ton of yeses and people aren't bought in, that's when it's too cheap. If you find that you're getting some no's because it's too expensive, but they would buy in if they had the money, I think that's when you're right on the line.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
I have a question regarding that. I mean, let's say, for example, you have a client, especially on the e-com niche, you run the ads, but they are break even on the front end. But the thing is, because they have like a high returning customer rate and a high average order value, they are making money on the back end thanks to the clients that you bring, right? Like, how do you deal with this situation? Because I feel like most of the people, they want to make money on the front end, but the thing is, if I don't bring them the customers anyway, they will not make money on the back end. I don't know if it's clear.
It's interesting, man. It's a very nuanced offer. I think what I would do, I always just come into business relationships like transactional, you pay me and I'll do this relationships with this mentality. it's effectively like my goal is to get you to pay enough to get you to buy in and incentivize me to do great work for you, while also ensuring that, you know, we stay human, and if there's any issues, you can just bring them up. But I'm also just, you want to get to a point where you're so convicted at what you're doing that when somebody brings up a problem, you can talk it down really easily.
Yeah.
Because you know the power of what you're doing for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like, for example, for this client, I show them like exactly the math. I show them that they are making money with what I bring, even if on the front end they are like break even at the moment because we are not scaling super hard. But the thing is, because they have like a super insane lifetime value, I mean, they are making like a shitload of money on the back, right? So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's explaining that and saying
Yeah.
like this is making most money on the back end,
Mm-hmm.
and saying, you know, we're going to need 2 or 3 or 4 months to really build the platform that's really going to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
crush it for you.
Yeah.
And do you have clients that you've worked with that this has happened?
There is one at the moment, right? So because I show them the math all the time, and I give them also like the Excel file so they can like even compute the numbers themselves and play with that. You know, I feel like they are.
I'm sorry. I mean to ask. My bad, Alexander. I mean to ask. Do you have a client where you ran their campaigns and they made a lot of money on the back end with you?
Before this client, no, that's the first one.
Yeah, I always just have like, if you know that they're a good client and they're a good fit, have them speak with the clients that you've worked with, or just text them and call them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's been huge.
Okay. No, but I mean, I probably like didn't make myself clear. I mean, I already have this one, right? So this one we have been working with them for 2 months. So I mean, it's fine. But like, let's say, for example, like next time I have a client that is eventually in this situation, but you answer to the question. So the best thing would be to, for example, use my client that I have right now and tell them to call the new clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do.
Okay, cool. Cool. And I have like another question regarding testimonials, because at the moment I have like three testimonials, but I feel like I don't leverage them enough. Especially on my website, there is like seriously nothing.
Why not?
Just I help, blah blah. Because I didn't like spend time to build it, because I felt like I didn't have so much time, and I prefer to like, you know, attract clients and stuff. But I mean, where would you leverage the testimonial on your website?
I think where would I leverage it on my website is a limited question. I think where would I leverage it in terms of who's going to run into it is a better question, because I don't really have like a website, right?
Okay.
Like I don't really have like a set website. You want to put it like in front of where you're getting the most traffic, essentially. Like wherever you're getting the most traffic, you know, people shouldn't be able to walk through that area without seeing the people you've helped and how you've helped them.
Okay.
I think that's kind of my general rule. Like recently, like Brendan's got a VA now that's going through all of our like accounts. He's logged into my Facebook and stuff, and like our group chats, the Facebook groups, Instagram. Anytime we have somebody message us and be like, "Yo, this happened," like screenshot, it's on Instagram, and then also it's sent to our video editor for YouTube, and he posts it on YouTube as a text post. And then we're gonna start doing email blasts as well. And it's just like, you know, like we just don't let those hide.
Okay.
So, yeah, because people, like, it just makes your job so much easier. People can see that you're consistently making people succeed.
Yeah, do you have a funnel built
okay.
out for your prospecting systems, or what's that look like?
So at the moment, yeah, I built a funnel like there is a year ago, so it's not. I mean, the VSL is not. I have to refresh it, but I mean, yeah, I have one, but I was wondering where I could put the testimonials. Like, for example, should I put them on the, you know, like the home page, I would say, or should I put them, for example, just below the scheduler, or just after they schedule the call? I mean,
Yeah. So what are you using for them to book calls? Like they go on your website, then they see your Calendly embed, and then they book a call.
so most of the time, I think that I send them straight to the calendar because I don't have like paid traffic, so it's just like organic. And a lot of the so most of my testimonials are already on my Facebook page. So if I use like OMA, they can see the testimonials. But for the people that I'm outreaching with email marketing, they, I mean, they see the testimonials just if, for example, I send them like 3 emails or 4 emails because they didn't answer, right? But if they answer straight from the first one and they go on the website, they see nothing. So they just see like my first email, which is like a case study, but they see nothing. So I think that I'm not like using the testimonial at the maximum, the best way I could do that.
Yeah. So I would put it there, and I would especially put it once. So it sounds like people are booking calls with you already.
Yeah.
So
indeed.
yeah. So when they book in with whatever software you use, and have it redirect to like a thank you page, and put testimonials in there. Put like all the testimonials you have in there. And then another thing you could add to doing it is if you have like a text sequence or an email sequence as a follow up to like remind them of the meeting. You can customize those and attach the, what I would do is just attach a link back to the thank you page where all the testimonials are held. So they keep going back to see that, make sure like, they have a reminder to like watch these videos before you call. So it warms them up.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, because like one of the issue at the moment with when I use email is that they will schedule the call, but they don't go to the next page. So they just like schedule the call and then they leave straight. They don't even like fill the survey and so on and so forth.
Okay, that's not so. Yeah, I guess that's different from the software that I use because typically you'd have to like fill out a form and then before actually scheduling the meeting. So yours, you schedule a meeting and then they fill out the form.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, I mean, regardless, you could still once they're like booked in, just like have a sequence sent to them as like that reminds them of the meeting and attaches like a link to the thank you page.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay, cool.
So I have kind of a random.
And yeah, last question. Just last question. Like regarding the sale, let's say for example, there is someone and you plan to sell them like for 3,000, right? Would you have like different offers? Meaning that, for example, the first time you say, yeah, it's 6,000, but if you decide to go with us today, it's 3,000. And if they say no, so you say, okay, so we can do, for example, 2,000 plus 10% of the return on that spend. And if they say no, you have like another offer and so on and so forth. And you keep looping back like that. I don't know if it makes sense.
I'm sorry, man. Could you repeat your question there? I thought Brandon.
Yeah. So do you always like loop back, right? Like if someone says no for the first price, you have a second price, and if they say no for the second price, you have a third price, and if they say no, and so on and so forth.
I go one down max, man. Because like if they keep talking you down, they're just gonna keep talking you down for the rest of the time they're working with you because they're just the kind of guy to do that, So you shut that down early. Otherwise, you're gonna get that like throughout the relationship.
Okay, I understand. Cool.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that too the first time, but I would completely agree with Trey. You gotta set like where you're like mentally not gonna go below and set your value there because it comes to a point where like you can't just let people take advantage of you, and like you have to hold your value. So
Okay,
hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Jeremy, what was your question, brother? I know you had something soon.
Yeah, it's really unrelated, but you pretty much have to have content out there, right? Somewhere where they can come across your information. like YouTube, Instagram, whatever?
Either content or a process of some kind that turns traffic into potential leads and buyers. So I mean, there's two ways that I view things, right? Like there's this kind of the direct ROI or direct process, and this is just like, I mean, I know I got some of our clients in the Seven Figure Systems group. This is what they do, man. This is just, they run ads, and the ads go straight to a landing page where you get their email and their name, and they opt in to watch a video where you educate them, tell them about what you do, and it's kind of like a mini sales letter, kind of disguised as like an educational piece of content, right? And people get tons of value out of this. It opens their eyes to the possibilities of applying the concepts that you help your clients with, and it shows them what they could do if they apply this stuff. And then you kind of give them two options. You say, A, you can do this yourself, or B, you can come work with us. And then if they want to work with you, they can schedule a call, and that's where you pitch. And like Luke Voigt, for example, is closing 1 out of 6 of these clients in the construction niche. So this is just like direct. This is like right in. You put 1 input in, you get 2 out, right? Like $1 in, you get $2 out. 100 people, you get 1, sales call, whatever, right? Like it's just measurable. Like we put a certain amount of input in, we get a certain amount out. And that's how you really scale a business. But there's also non-direct, and I've made a lot of money in non-direct, and you don't have to focus on just direct. So non-direct is like, it's really just trying to build this bubble, man, of like influence. And it's trying to build your, like, you can call it your brand or whatever you want to call it, right? I don't really like that word, because when I think of brand, I think of like scammy dudes with Lamborghinis, like selling you on like a 297 course or something like that. I don't really like the word brand. I more so like reputation. I like the word reputation because that has a bit more meat to it and a bit more substance. But in general, non-direct models are like our Facebook flywheel model, which again, the Google Drive link is in the chat for you guys. And this is, where you're posting on Facebook. It's OMA basically, right? Posting on Facebook, growing your reputation, getting people into your circle of influence. Imagine each of these dots represents like another 10 people, right? And you're just getting more and more people in here where they can hear your message, and slowly over time, you're indoctrinating them with content and getting them to buy into your stuff. And it could take 1 lead, 8 months, and it can take another lead, 2 days to convert, right?
Is that content on Facebook, like just your posts?
Yeah, it's posts on your personal profile. If you start a Facebook group, I would again watch the Google Drive there for more specifics. But yeah, it's, we join groups, we post in those groups, we add friends, we start to sort of create a bit of a spiral effect. The more friends we have in those groups, the more our posts get seen, the more messages we get asking for help. We get calls that way, and then we close using our scripts. So there's direct and there's non-direct. So your question of, do you need to have content out there? I think that's the best way I can answer that. You need to have some form of turning like strangers into warm leads, in some capacity. And like, I view my subscribers on YouTube, for example, as leads. I know that it takes me about 150 views on YouTube to book a prospecting call, maybe more than that, actually. I need to know that exact number. At one point, I knew that number, right? So you start to build these processes. I know, like, out of how many people message me on Instagram asking me for help, how many are actually converting to a call. And then I know our closing rate on our calls. So it's like, I just have these systems. So whether it's direct or non-direct, you got to know your numbers. And that's how you really scale. Yeah.
So basically, starting from zero, I can still expect, it's still realistic to land clients before I've grown my YouTube channel.
For sure.
That thing and creating that whole.
Oh yeah, it's a huge lie that you need like a platform to get clients. Okay. It's like the ultimate lead gen tool to have a reputation, like have a brand or like have a platform. Mm-hmm. But you want to be getting clients along the way, yeah.
Okay. That's the first link you sent in the chat, right?
OMA.movie or something like that is the name of the file. It's the only video I dropped. I think it's the first one I put in there. Yeah, OMAmodel.move. Yeah, it's a pretty solid. It's actually going up on YouTube like next week as a piece of content. But yeah.
I have a quick question real quick, also unrelated to the current topic. But just like for anyone who has any insight on this, how do I go about just like factoring in like ad spend when I'm like on a sales call? Like, is that included with the original price? I'm guessing that's like obviously I'm trying to bring on a contractor here soon. I've been talking with him. Obviously that's stuff I would like talk with him about, because like you said, like we don't need to be the ones that are doing the ads. Like we don't want to be the supply to the client. So I figured I would obviously get knowledge from him on that. But is that something you include in the original price or your original like cost of your services, or what?
Yeah, the client always pays for ad spend. I know people that the client pays them, and then out of that amount of money, you pay for the ad spend. But that's just too complex. There's too many moving parts.
Yeah.
So you just plug your client's credit card right into their own Facebook ad account. So
Okay.
you've got your business manager, so you can manage different ad accounts in your business manager. And for every new client, you create a new ad account for that client, and then just run their card through that ad account. And that's how I did it.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So would there not really be any set price for ad spend? It's just like, would we let them know up front that that's how we do it, or what? Or would it still be just a set price, just using their card?
Saying like ad spend, I always say testing budget. I never say ad spend, because it's like that commits you to that amount. Like, but what if your ad spend is set to 1,000 and you've spent 1,000, you made the max 6? Like, why didn't you spend 5,000?
Yeah.
Because it's just working, right? So I would say testing budget, because then it also kind of sets expectations well. Like, Greg, maybe this is good for you too, man. Instead of saying, hey, 1,500 and then 1,000 ad spend, which is $2,500 total, it's more like 1,500 and then $1,000 testing budget for month 1. And if we see that it's going well, we'll spend more. We won't spend more than 1,000 without asking you. It's basically what testing budget means.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you just plug their credit card or their debit card or business account or whatever just right into Facebook or YouTube or whatever.
Okay. And would this be stuff that like our contractors would be handling, like making new ad accounts and stuff like that, or would I need to learn how to do that? Because I know there was a section in the. Sorry, go ahead.
I just have him do it.
I think that's what I thought.
Yeah, there's so many resources out there about like Facebook ads specifically. If you know a beginner amount of Facebook advertising, you can affect business change for somebody, in my opinion, especially in a more brick and mortar market like painting. I mean, a basic lead gen form on Facebook, it takes 5 minutes to set up an ad that just gets people to give them their phone number and their name if they need paint help. It's or construction or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a pretty simple campaign to set up. So yeah, I think just I would get on Google, get on YouTube, and do some research. Like find marketers who do work with your niche. There's tons of them out there, and look at what they do for their clients. Kind of model it in your own way.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no need to reinvent the wheel, but cool, man. Well, that wraps up. What is today? The 30th. Wednesday the 30th.
Yeah.
Oh, hey man, real quick, can I change my time that I scheduled with you on Friday?
Yep. Just I'll cancel those now and then do that.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Cool. Everyone, have a great new year.
Awesome. Yeah, you too.
Appreciate
Thank you guys.
You too.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye, guys.